Shabbat Shalom. This week I got an email that now is, I think, my favorite email I've ever received as a rabbi. Up until this week, it was a tie between, Rabbi, I heard something's happening in Israel. Could you tell me what that is? And Rabbi, I've decided I'd like to be a lifelong patron. So by the way, that one's still available to anyone. But this was, we're in the middle of getting ready for school. Raise your hand if you started a new school this week or a new grade. How'd it go, everyone? You good? Yeah? Nice? Okay, cool. We had new schools, and we started confirmation, and we started a new teen program on Sunday nights, one Sunday a night a month, for all teens of all ages to do learning. We have Lama. There's a lot going on. And granted, we have so many options, it can be a little confusing. And so I got an email that sort of said, Rabbi, could you sort of explain the point of all of this? And they meant the difference between which teen offering, etc. But it looked like basically saying, Rabbi, the Torah, could you explain the point of all of this? And of course, people who know me well know what my answer is going to be, which is, what do you think the point of all of this? Yeah, thank you guys. Okay. So we decided that for this morning, for a few minutes, Rabbi Schwartzman and I are going to do something a little bit different than normal. You've all heard us talk enough, and will hear us talk a lot in the month ahead. But so we are going to present to you 4 of the mitzvot of the 74 that Lucy spoke so beautifully about. In fact, actually, Lucy, one of them is the one that you talked about, so nice job. We're going to present to you 4 mitzvot that we think are exemplars of reasons for the Torah. Right? Well, the whole point of the Torah might be one of these 4, and then you are going to judge for yourselves which one you think is the most important. Now, by the way, what's the answer going to be? Thank you, all of them, exactly right. So it's not which one do you think is the most important on some empirical scale, but for you, the question is going to be which of these ways of approaching mitzvot and our lives and Judaism do you need in this year and year ahead? And bonus points, which one do you think is the most important for our community or our people this year? So, we're going to get off to the beginnings now. Rabbi Schwartzman is taking the first one. Do you want to read the mitzvah? And if you would like, you can take out your Eitz Chaim Chumashim, and we'll give you the page numbers of where they are found, or you can listen along. Either one is totally fine. Rabbi, take it away.
So, I'm going to start with a story. Maybe like 10 years ago, when I first started becoming a religious, observant Shabbat Jew, something really crazy happened, which is that I sat in my very tiny New York City dining room, living room, kitchen, everything was the same room. And we sat at the Shabbat dinner, and somebody said to me, "Do you know Joe Smith?" And I was like, "No, that's not their name." I said, "No, I don't know Joe Smith." 25 hours later, I turned on my phone and I logged onto Facebook, and the first person to pop up on the People You May Know algorithm, my phone was off in my room, was Joe Smith. And so something about the digital algorithm of my tiny 500 square foot New York City apartment knew that even though my phone was off during Shabbat dinner, that Joe Smith was somebody that I should know. And the reason that I talk about digital algorithms is because I think it connects to the first mitzvah that I'm going to present to you, which is the page number that Rabbi Witkowski has.
It's page 1135.
1135.
Chapter 25, verse 15.
About just weights and measures. The verse is, you must have completely honest weights and completely honest measures if you are able to endure long on the soil that your God is giving you. And one of the commentators, a rabbi from Prague, says that at first glance, this is about simple business ethics. Don't cheat in the marketplace. Don't put your thumb on the scale. Don't maybe talk about somebody that's going to show up on your algorithm. But the Torah goes further. It says that the reason that we should have just, honest measures and just weights is so that we can survive on our land. What does that really mean? That the Gur Aryeh, this rabbi from Prague, explains that dishonesty in measures isn't just about putting a few coins on this side or putting a few dollars on that side. It's actually about eroding trust. A society can survive many hardships, but it can't survive if people no longer believe that their neighbor, their shopkeeper, or their leader is dealing with them truthfully. And I think where this shows up most in our life today is this algorithm that sort of decides what's going to pop up for us. Are we going to be tempted to buy a new pair of shoes or new nail polish or, I don't know, maybe a new Eagles hat? I don't really know how those work. But
You wear them.
meaning the algorithms associated with watching football. For me, it's more about the shoes. What news pops up, or what job applications pop up, or what voices are amplified online. And if those measures are skewed because we tend to move towards the football ads versus the clothing ads, we sort of face the same danger that the Torah warns. Just like me, you're not going to know what pops up on these football ads. You're just going to know what pops up on the shoe ads. But Judaism insists of us, I don't know how to fix the algorithm problem, but further than that, Judaism insists of us that just measures equals a just society. So whether it's a stall of grain from the time of the Torah or an online platform, we're tempted to tilt the balance for our own gain. But the Torah tells us no. We have to figure out how to have just weights and measures so that we are equal in the world. And the Torah says the reward is that you may live long on this land. That's not a reward for us individuals who are buying whatever our ad comes from, but it's a promise for our whole community.
All right. So, just weights and measures, and I apologize for teasing you like I do in a staff meeting in front of everyone. I'm so sorry. Next mitzvah is on page 1131, and it's the one that our bar mitzvah chose to speak about. So it must be important because it is that you shall not subvert the rights of the stranger or the fatherless. You shall not take a widow's garment in pawn. Remember that you were a slave in Egypt and that your God redeemed you from there. Therefore, I enjoin you to observe this commandment. So this mitzvah says, actually, Rabbi Schwartzman, it's not enough to just keep yourself in check and do your own good deeds and make sure that you're not putting the thumb on the scale. You have to do what? You go for it. Hey, why not? You have to look out for everybody else, right? You have to. It's not enough to just do it for you, but you have to find people. And what do the widow and the orphan and the stranger have in common? They don't have societal support. And so you need to go out and you need to look for the people that society has forgotten, and you need to make sure that they're doing okay. And friends, there are basically two things that human beings have come up with in the millennia that we've been around to try to organize ourselves to make the world a better place. Politics and religion. That's what we've got. Otherwise, we all just kind of want to run around and do our own thing. And so this is our way of saying you have to try to make the world a better, safer, kinder place. That's this mitzvah of being kind to the widow and to the orphan. And now I'm going to take you to page 1118 and the mitzvah of tzitzit. So we've done just weights and measures. We've talked about being kind to the widow and the orphan, and on equal level and footing is the mitzvah that you shall make tassels on the four corners of your garments with which you cover yourself. So this is the mitzvah that you have to take these tzitzit and you have to attach them to the corners of your garment. How on earth could this be the most important verse that we have? Well, I'll tell you, friends. I think that tzitzit is one of the most important things that we have. It is one of the best things that we have. This is our exemplification of all the rituals, right? A ritual that seems like it makes no sense, right? Don't kill and don't steal, I understand. Put fringes on the corners of your garments, less so. But that's kind of the point. It is a positive affirmation of one's Jewish identity. It doesn't hurt anyone. It doesn't take anything away from anyone. It is just something that you do that's a little weird to show that you're a part of this a little weird people. And it's important also because it's something that we can pass on quite easily. I can just say to you, wear this. Just trust me. Wear this, right? How many people in the room are wearing a tallis because Janie handed you one and you were too polite to say no? Yeah, don't raise your hands. But I understand that you're out there. But from wearing it just because we say you should, you're going to look at it and think, well, wait, what is going on here? Why am I wearing this thing? And that's the point. Then you're going to read the Torah, and you're going to investigate why this is happening, and you're going to learn something. Or it's going to be a reminder that you are an observant Jew, or a holy Jew, or even just an aspiring observant and holy Jew. And it's something that will keep you hopefully on the straight and narrow. And my Talmudic friends know the story that I'm referring to, and we can all laugh about it in our heads. And you'll ask me a Kiddush, and then I'll tell you, but not right now, about tzitzit keeping someone on the straight and narrow. And it's something that when we pass on, meanings can change. And a tzitzit is something different today than it was 1,000 years ago. And that's the way that we can grow. So I think this is such an important mitzvah that I used to, at my old synagogue, I said, if any kid wants to wear tzitzit, I will get you, there's the tallis and then there's the small one. And I'll make that for here. If anyone wants to wear tzitzit, I'm out of all the ones I used to give away, but I'll get more. So if you want to wear tzitzit, it's on me. Come find me. I'll teach you the blessing and how to put them on. And you'll be the coolest kid in school with your tzitzit. You can even tuck them in. That's fine. Because the point of the ritual is that it's something for us to do to step into an active Jewish identity. All right, Rabbi, take us home. Last one. Friends, we're on page 1136. It is the maftir that our bat mitzvah read so beautifully on page 1136, Devarim 17 through 19.
You're getting a little bit of view into what happens in the world of Rabbi Witkowski and I on Shabbat afternoons, which is that he is way more competitive when we play games than I am. I'm like, just listen to me and I'll convince you. And he's like, I'm going to convince you why. This is the most important thing and I will also win the game, which is mostly true. But actually I think that this final mitzvah is the most important because we read it on the Shabbat before Purim, and we also read it now. And when we read it on the Shabbat before Purim, it's so important that we are told that every single person in the room, in shul, in the Jewish world, has to hear it, so much so that a lot of shuls will read it again after Kiddush. And that is the mitzvah of Amalek, which is on, I don't have the page number, but chapter 25, verse 17. And I'll truncate a little bit for you. Remember what Amalek did to you on your journey after you left Egypt. So we've got remember how they cut down the stragglers in your rear. You shall blot out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. Do not forget. It's very confusing because we're asking to both remember Amalek, but then blot out the memory of Amalek, but then do not forget Amalek. So what's happening here? We've got a lot of sort of competing ideas. That teaching about memory of the Torah, this is what one of my favorite teachers, Dr. Aviva Zorenberg, says. Teaching about the memory of the Torah isn't just about recalling facts. It's about bringing the past into the present in a way that transforms how we live. So when we ask to remember Amalek, but also blot out the memory of Amalek, it means remembering what it feels like to be attacked at our weakest point and letting that memory shape us into people who never leaves our own stragglers behind, which is also sort of what Lucy spoke about, not leaving people behind whom we might easily leave behind. And this reminds us of the importance of our Jewish peoplehood, making sure that we as Jewish people together keep moving forward in our society. And I think that the reason that I got this one is because, as many of you know, or the people who know me in the room know, that I'm a child of Russian immigrants, and so peoplehood was very, very cemented in my upbringing. And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about how I would go to B'nai Mitzvah, just like you're all at today, and I would see random cousin number 55, and then afterwards I would leave and I would say, Mom and Dad, how am I related to random cousin number 55? And they would say, you're not. That person just lived 3 doors down and 4 doors up in the shtetl in the Ukraine, and so therefore they're at all of the B'nai Mitzvah that you have, and all of the simchas, and the real challenge for this idea of Jewish peoplehood, for me, for remembering Amalek and also blotting out the memory, this challenge of peoplehood is, how do I make sure that this cousin, who's cousin number 55 and lived 3 doors up and 4 doors down, actually stays a part of my family and actually stays a part of my own Jewish people, even though they're not actually blood related to me. And that's a challenge that we all have in this idea of Jewish peoplehood, that how do we actually keep connected even as we get more and more spread out, and are not just in this little shtetl. This idea of remembering Amalek is, I think, actually the most important. I'm being a little competitive, because it's an invitation to us to widen our sense of who we are and who belongs to us, and how we bring people in and make them feel at home within us.
All right, friends, moment of truth for all of you. So we've laid out reasons for being a part of the people. We've laid out reasons for these mitzvot in the Torah, and I want you to take a second and think. So we've got a personal ethics of how we comport ourselves. We've got an ethic of looking out for others and a sort of societal global ethic. We have the need for ritual and what ritual can remind us of, and we have the need for peoplehood and what it means to be a part of this people. So I want you to take a second, and I want you to think about one of these that has been meaningful to you in the past. And I want you to think about what you need of these 4, which one is going to be the most important to you in the year ahead. Take a second to think, and then I'm going to ask you to turn to the person next to you and share which one you're thinking. We're not going to do a whole big conversation after, but if you don't know them, say, hi, my name is Ethan, Shabbat Shalom, it's nice to meet you. And I want you to share, what is the reminder? What is the thing that you want in this year? Is it a personal ethic? Is it a looking out for others? Is it a ritual that's going to help ground you and keep you? Or is it being a part of a people and the peoplehood? What is the thing that you need looking ahead in the year to come? Take 2 seconds and then share with the person next to you. You have 18 seconds. Ready, set, go. Okay, take 9 more seconds. If you haven't switched, switch. All right, friends, we got to save something for Kiddush afterwards.
This was a fruitful conversation.
Yeah, this is good. All right. Did you actually do it? Okay, good. All right, that was good. Thank you. All right, friends, so we're not going to share, but here's my question for you. Raise a hand if you had the same one of the 4 as the person next to you. Did anyone have the same? Okay, raise your hand if on hearing from the other person you thought, oh, actually that's pretty good. I might want to switch mine to that. Very interesting, very nice. So the answer, of course, is all. And the answer for our community is all. But it's something for us to think about as we go into a new year, both of school and of our calendar. I mean, what is it that our community needs to be and to provide in the year ahead, right? A source for ethics, a source for doing good in the world, a source for learning the deep, deep meaning behind our rituals, and a source for bringing people together as people in a peoplehood. Now, all of them are the answer, and we need your help with all of them, but it's something for us to go into with our eyes open, with intentionality, as we build our community and as we go into the year ahead. So thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, and now in the days ahead, and we look forward to continuing it at Kiddush in a few moments. Shabbat Shalom. With that, friends, we turn to Musaf.